Okay, so welcome from my side. Thanks for having me. Thanks ASAC, Argentina and Uruguay for inviting me, for bringing me over. And really happy to be here and to share with you our strategy from SAP and to talk especially about two important topics. The first is moving to the next generation ERP. So why is this the next generation ERP? We have been seeing a lot about AI at the beginning already. This is, of course, what we will double down a little bit on. And then, of course, the second topic is also very important with confidence. Because we are here now in 2025. We all have, and we will see it as well, latest time until 2030. There will be no extension to that timeline. I will talk about that shortly as well. So yes, we have 5 years, but we really need to start the journey. And this is why the second half of my presentation will show what are the tools, the services, the helping hands that we as SAP are giving you to master that journey. Because we are in this together and we would like to solve that together. Because we would like to ensure, of course, that all of you are running ERP processes as fancy as we have been seeing it at the beginning of the beginning video, right? So we would like to, I think all of us here in the room, leverage modern technology, leverage all of the things that are coming with generative AI to really run our operations more agile and differently. And this is, of course, what we would jointly like to get to. So why do we think that ERP systems are, again, I have to say, at a watershed moment of change? And that is, of course, mainly driven by AI and the technology behind. Because where I think we are all coming from, and I can tell it as well, I'm 26 years SAP, as you can see in my gray hair, I'm a little bit older as well already. So I started at SAP developing part of our ECC, so a classical transactional application. And of course, I've been very proud on what I have been doing at that point in time. But if we are looking at what we can do with applications today, if we're looking at there to the right-hand side, then there are fundamental changes that are now available due to the new technology. Changes that are helping us to really work with data and technology completely different. So it's not siloed into one single application anymore. It's spanning really across your enterprise. And then, of course, also what you're seeing there nicely is that on the whole way how you're interacting with the software, right? We started with a classical transactional system. You want to do something. This is why you're going into a system. You're entering a transaction, if you remember it. Otherwise, you have to search in the menu. And then you are entering some data in the system or are requesting some data from the system. But always you have to know what you would like to know, and you have to tell the system exactly what to do. This has been evolving over the time, and today, of course, we have a lot more user-friendly systems that are easier to use. You don't need all of these manuals anymore. When I started at SAP in my office, there was 1 meter of manuals of SAP, right? So you don't need these manuals anymore to work with the software. But where we are getting to is that the software also starts to think for you, right? We have been seeing it at the beginning. The new interaction with the software is not thinking about the transaction, finding a screen. The new interaction with the software is chatting with the software or even talking to the software. But the software as such will also not only respond to your original question, but the software as such will now also intelligently help you with your whole end-to-end process. We will see it in a few minutes as well. And that is, of course, how fundamentally the type of software is changing. So it's not only the system anymore that is entering data into the database and you can request it afterwards, but it is really a software that is actively helping you not only to do the things that you have to do, but to do them faster, to do them better, and also to innovate new things. So this is the new technology that we can leverage also as an SAP and jointly as an SAP and our customers and ecosystem. And for this, we of course also need a new platform and a fundamental architecture. So how does this now map into our offering from SAP? So that is our business strategy or product strategy document and picture. And nicely, I can say we are using that picture in a little bit of variations already since 5 years. Right? So that shows also that there is really a good consistency to our strategy, and we are of course have been evolving it over the time. And what you see there are a few important moments, because otherwise I can talk the whole 20 minutes about this picture. There's one important topic at the center of the picture is our ERP. And that is a very important message. Of course, we are offering a complete modular suite of applications that is going across all of your LOBs, but the center of our applications remains and is the ERP. This is where SAP is coming from 1972 on, and this is what is there at the center. One important change that we applied last year into this picture is that in the same center as ERP sits, there sits also the Business Data Cloud, so your data. Because we have been seeing, of course, that if you would like to apply AI really end-to-end into your applications and into your processes, then you need clean data, you need master your data centrally. Because no AI will work if all of your applications are using different types of data. So this is why the Business Data Cloud and our data management has become, so to say, the second element of the center of this picture. And then we are having our solutions around that center, our LOB applications in finance, spend management, supply chain, human capital, and customer service. But they're all, of course, grouped, and this is why this picture is so important, they're all grouped by two common elements. The first common element is maybe starting here is the platform, one single platform underneath our business technology platform, the cloud application platform. The second common element is our business process elements that are spanning across the applications, be it Signavio for business process management or LeanIX for the enterprise application architecture. They're all spanning across it, and they are really making end-to-end processes out of it. So that is our way how, from a product perspective, we are answering that picture I had in the beginning, where software is being moving to. And of course, the idea with the business suite, and this is why we also have been relaunching basically that term beginning of this year. The topic with the business suite is that no matter in which of these applications of SAP you are in, whether you are doing a transaction in SuccessFactors, in Concur, or in the core ERP at the center, they're all looking the same, they're behaving the same, they're following the same logic, and they are all, of course, AI powered, and Joule can work with all of them. Right? So these are common qualities across all of these applications. This is then mapping into three main dimensions or three main focus points for us from a strategy. Fernanda was shortly mentioning it as well already, at least as far as I could follow in Spanish there. This is the suite, the data, and AI, right? We are calling it everything first, suite first, AI first, data first. I mean, normally only one thing can be first at a time, right? But that is our fundament. These are our fundamentals for our strategy. So the basis is, of course, our applications across all of the LOBs that are talking to each other, but integrated with our business technology platform, of course, as well, third-party applications, because we know it is not everything blue at our customers, even though we wish it to be. Then the Business Data Cloud is connecting all of these applications into one single data platform. And the small element that you're seeing here, the knowledge graph, is so important because this is our technology that we embedded into HANA that is bringing the semantics of all of these applications, SAP and as well non-SAP, jointly together so that you can really work on that data with the end-to-end AI processes and really can use multi-agentic AI that is solving your business processes really end-to-end. So this is how this is mapping then into our strategies from an SAP perspective. Let's double down a little bit on the ERP side, because this is a little bit always the elephant in the room. A lot of you in this group here are, I think, still on an old ERP ECC systems. Hopefully, a lot of you are as well on the way to next generation ERP to S4 already. Hopefully, as well then in the cloud. And so this is why, of course, the topic is always again. So what's really then the fundamental change? So this is why a few minutes now talking a little bit about what is really different. And as I said, I started as a developer on that good old ERP that we have been doing, and as I've been taking S4 to the market and being responsible globally for that at SAP, I always said there's one big enemy for my whole S4 go-to-market that I started in 2015, and that is not the outside world with Oracle, Microsoft, and so on. It was our own ERP, because it's a great product, right? So it does what it has been built for, managing transactional data and giving some insights into that data. It manages that perfectly, and I think all of you have been working on that very nicely and optimizing it together with our partner ecosystem. But there are also limitations, especially if we are looking into how in the modern world, with agility, with a lot of changes coming to us on a short time frame, when we're looking into such a world, our good old ERP, so to say, also has quite a lot of limitations, right? So it is mainly a manual system. As I said, people have to remember transactions. So it's difficult to bring in automation. Also, from a data model perspective, it has a very intelligent data model, but it has a data model that is not built for modern AI-driven, agile type of applications, right? The simple way how the financial system is built in ERP. It's a great way how we have built it. I was part of it, I can say it. But it was a very rigid idea with strict ledgers, how we have structured the data. This is something that we have completely broken up with S4, but that is also fundamentally changing it. So there are limitations. And we are, of course, also seeing that the classical idea of having an on-premise system, giving you the software, throwing it over the fence and saying goodbye, what I'm always saying. That old classical way to deliver software was good for the old ERP, but will not take our customers into the future. Why? Because that has been driving also over the time a lot of complexity on your side. This is why we are seeing so many customers really upgrading even their old ERP system, not anymore. So this is why it is clear for us that this thing is coming also to an end. This is why, as I said at the beginning, also 2030 is the end of the extended maintenance of even the newest ERP releases. And by that date, ERP will have been in the market more than 35 years. So first of all, we think that is a very long period. Secondly, there are also, of course, at the end, technology drivers also on our side that are pushing that. So this is why I'm always making sure that 2030 date is not something that we just came up with by putting our finger into the air, and that might change. No, that cannot change anymore, because there are also external third-party software elements, databases, but other third-party components, Java coding, and so on, that we have built into our ERP that are also ending end of 2030. And this is why the only alternative would be to come up with a new release of ERP. And I don't think anybody would like to get this. So this is where, of course, a lot of our customers are. And this is why we invented S/4HANA as the next generation ERP back in 2014 and launched it in 2015. Because we wanted to fundamentally do a few things differently with that solution. So manual operations have been completely put into automation. We have been combining tasks, so things that have been 5 transactions in ERP are now one single screen in S4. That was the groundwork, basically, we of course laid into that application that now, today, allows us to put onto all of these nice automated applications AI agents that are then even executing it autonomously, right? Because even when I launched S4 back in 2015, I already was talking a little bit, thinking into the future about an autonomous ERP. And I'm really happy to see that now, roughly 10 years later, it's not wishful thinking anymore, but we are entering really such an area of an autonomous ERP. Because simple thing, our classical ERP, of course, can do every financial balance sheet that you would like to get out of it. But it is always backward looking. S/4HANA gives you a predictive P&L, so it will simulate how your business will be doing end of the year, end of the quarter, end of the month, based on all the data that is in the system. That, of course, gives you a completely different level of control to your business that you can apply. And then, of course, we're also looking, using then on the inside area. So again, ERP, great tools to look into the past and to understand what went wrong. But S/4HANA will come up with alerts before something goes wrong, right? So that is the fundamental difference. ERP nicely tells you where you could have done better. S/4HANA will predictively change your business to make sure that you're doing better right from the beginning. And that is why we are really thinking it's fundamentally changing how you can work with ERP systems. And the second dimension is then how we are delivering it, and this is the delivery via the cloud. Be it now public cloud, and Fernanda was talking about it, for those that are really going to greenfield and the highest standardization, or be it private cloud, which will be, for most of the customers coming from a classical ECC, the preferred way. But in both areas, there's one fundamental change. We are in that game together because we are running that system for you, and we are helping you to really master this transformation and to implement that new solution. And this is why cloud is such an important element that is coming into this whole discussion of the ERP transformation as well. Let's look into 2 or 3 examples that are making it maybe a little bit more concrete, how S/4HANA, how the cloud ERP, private cloud ERP public is looking different from a classical ECC. So this is simple topic, customer service. That, of course, also was in a classical ERP with a few transactions that you're navigating through. How is this looking in S/4HANA? First of all, everything on one screen in a what we are calling in a cockpit. It is giving you real-time information out of the system that is helping you to master that customer service case in the best way possible. It will also help the agent here to select which customer to help first. You have guided procedures that are taking the people step by step through the needed activities. And in today's world, some of these activities are even then taken over by intelligent AI agents. And of course, it's giving you one intelligent user interface for each and everything you're doing. And this is the Joule cockpit, right? So whatever you would like to get out of the system, you would like to have the system been doing, you're using Joule to just tell the system, and then the system will actively do it. So this is how also younger people than I am will work with our ERP systems, and this is how we think really people in your companies will really use the ERP system to fundamentally change your business, to serve your end customers better, and to help you performing better. Another area that is also at the interest of all of us, of course, where we are leveraging these new capabilities is the whole topic of sustainability. Because we as SAP are also feeling that we have to take over responsibility also for the topic of sustainability, not only being sustainable as a company, but also helping our customers to become sustainable. Because if we are always saying proudly 70%, 80% of worldwide chocolate, beer, and so on is being produced with SAP, then if somebody can make the world more sustainable, it's us. So this is how we build into our new architecture of S/4HANA the green ledger as a second ledger with which you can look at all of your data from a sustainability angle. And then last but not least, a very simple example as well. Of course, everybody would like to get information out of an ERP system. In yesterday's world, it means going to BW to report, knowing the report, and then trying and hoping that the report is giving you the right data. In today's world with AI, we are having a functionality called Just Ask. Right? So you're just articulating what you would like to see into Joule, and you will get the data. And you will get the data even intelligently enriched with additional context information that Joule is matching into your question based on internal and external data that is taking into it as well. So this is a new way how you're interacting with the system. So now, how to get there, right? And as I said, cloud is, of course, one of the fundamental game changers here as well, then from a technology perspective. Because what cloud will change is not only that you don't have to run the system anymore and that we are completely operating the system for you. Cloud will also change the way how we can support you in your transformation. And this is why we came up with this whole idea of the RISE with SAP methodology. So a clear methodology with which we can support you in all of the steps of your transformation from where you are today, be it still a very old ECC, be it already an S/4HANA on-premise or any mixture of it. So no matter where you're coming from, with the RISE with SAP methodology and your way to the cloud, as we are operating your system, we can now more concretely help you. Because we are seeing how you're using the system, we are seeing where you're stumbling, and we can, of course, anyhow take away any of the technology hurdles. How is this then concretely looking like? Let's look into a few details or along a classical transformation process with processes, applications, people, and data. So you're modeling your processes in Signavio. Then Signavio is, of course, rating that against our best practices, and AI is helping you to optimize it. It will be handed over to LeanIX, and LeanIX will build the enterprise architecture that is coming out of your definition of the processes. So, and once we're having the enterprise architecture, cloud application lifecycle management will be the responsible element to really bring that into action and to really help you to manage all of these applications seamlessly. And then our Business Data Transformation Center will, of course, along the process changes that you have been defining here in Signavio, it will define which data transformation is needed to get you onto the way into the new application. And then last but not least, of course, transformation is everything about getting the people on your side with you onto the journey. So this is why one of our last acquisitions in that area, WalkMe, is so important, because we have enabled now for the enablement, for the education, but we then have also WalkMe that with concrete steps is taking the users that are now should benefit from the new applications, the new capabilities that are out there, to take them, so to say, by the hand and really guide them through the new functionalities. And this is how we are helping you with our applications, really step by step into that new world. And my organization, the Customer Evolution Program, is, so to say, the pendant on the SAP side when it comes to our services, because we have been then now building programs, tools, and offerings that are along such a transformation journey, really picking up all the stumbling stones and bottlenecks and challenging elements that we are seeing in the market, right? So, and this is why we are calling our offerings across Accelerate, Adopt, and Abridge. So no matter what we are seeing, it is a commercial challenge that we are seeing. We are bringing out commercial offerings that are helping you to overcome it, like the transformation incentive when you're moving to the cloud. If it's technical hurdles, then we are overcoming it by tools that we are building, and we will look into one of our tools, our AI-driven transformation, in a second as well. And if it's business case where you're still stumbling with, we have tools in our offering like our Customer Evolution Kit. This one here, it's a 3 to 4 days engagement where we are really helping those of you that are still stumbling with your management, with your business, to articulate the value of moving to our next generation ERP and your next generation ERP. With the Customer Evolution Kit in a 3 to 4 days engagement, we are really giving you that business case and helping you to have a better argument with your internal leadership. But we are also, of course, then putting that into events. We are having a gaming approach with our ERP Sim game, even where we are taking people from our customers onto a gaming journey to really experience the new world of ERP. Because that is something that we are seeing more and more, that of course slides are nice, but it is better if you're really experiencing the change. So this is where we are using the gaming. So a huge amount of elements available because we really would like to ensure that the remaining years that we are having are used adequately from our side and from your side to really take you on the way. And one element I wanted to double down a little bit in my last minutes that I'm having is also around AI. Because we started the day with the video on AI from SAP, and there we are always talking about AI in the context of our business software. So how is AI changing the way how our software is helping you, how you are using our software? But of course, we also started to think about how can AI use in the technical help in the technical transformation, because the move from an old ERP system to the next generation ERP is also a technical transformation. And there we started to think about what can AI do to simplify that and to help you on that way. And we have identified 4 elements where we are seeing a huge lever that we can get from AI. Test execution and management. Test automation is, of course, something everybody of us knows and uses extensively. But in our AI-driven cases, AI will not only automatically do the testing, it will automatically generate the test cases and generate the test data for that cases. And testing is, as we all know, one of the most time-consuming steps in a transformation. And that is something that we are fundamentally reducing by 6 to 15% with that element. Data management, of course, moving to S/4HANA, next generation ERP means in some areas transformation of data. This is something that AI is now doing automatically for you, even in an area like customer vendor master integration. Custom code remediation, I think the most prominent and known case, of course, for AI, and even transition guidance, and I will show the example for that one. Transition guidance. So what can AI do for you? And here we have an example of how Joule Consultant can already help there. Because there are a few fundamental questions, of course, that you are having on your way to S/4HANA. And what are you doing today? You're trying to ask somebody from SAP, an ecosystem partner, somebody in your company, or you ask your neighbor. But of course, everybody will tell something different on how you should best do a specific thing along the transformation. With Joule for Consultants, we have trained our AI with our own knowledge base with which we are training our consultants. And this is how that AI feature that is part of Joule is now giving really educated answers on classical questions that you are having along the transformation. And I'm seeing it's a little bit hard to read, but here I asked Joule some classical questions along the transformation. This is about how to move to the new ledger with SAP, right? And the answer you're getting, even so I realize it's hard to read on this screen here, the answer you're getting is really a very educated step-by-step approach how we are moving to next generation ledger. This was this question here. How to activate special ledger in the move to S/4HANA. So you're really getting a very educated answer. And the fact that the answer is correct is that it's also stating you have to do it prior to activate your S/4HANA transformation. But there are also more complex questions that you, in the meantime, can ask as for the Joule for Consultant. And this is classical question: should I do a system conversion or a new implementation? And classical question, of course, that you will normally ask a consultant from one of our partners. But also here, AI is able now in the meantime to help you with that type of decision. And here, our latest innovation that we have been brought out and shown at the Sapphire this year is what we are calling transformation guidance. Because transformation guidance is an AI algorithm that will analyze your system that you would like to look at, that will look at things like readiness check and custom code analysis in your system. And based on that data, this algorithm will really come up with the best way and the needed steps to move to S/4HANA. So it's an automated intelligent system that is telling you you should move that system into a system conversion. And by the way, these are the 5 technical objects that you need to adjust when you're doing that system conversion. And then the AI algorithms will help you to adjust these 5 technical objects. So this is where we are already with the support to your move, and this is why we're also confident that we can manage it jointly all together latest until the end of 2030. So summing it up, I hope I was able to see you a little bit to show you a little bit with a few more elements how the nice new world is looking like. What are really the fundamental differences of the next generation ERP and the classical ECC systems some of you are still working on. And I would like to end it with a few numbers just out of our Rise with SAP business, because I think these 3 numbers I've put down there are really very speaking of what we have been achieving. 2,000 updates we have executed last year. What does that mean? That means that customers that moved with us even into the private cloud with RISE, in public cloud you're getting an update every 6 months automatically. But even in private cloud, we have been able to bring our customers into more frequent updates. By the way, one of the reasons why we built that cloud, because we wanted to achieve exactly that. And that is what does it mean? That means that customers that are with us on our RISE journey and in RISE, or in Cloud ERP Private, how we are calling it now, they are adopting our innovations, and it's not only AI, but of course largely as well. They're adopting that a lot faster than customers that are not on that system. Are the systems reliable? We are achieving 99.999 as in reliability SLA, so we are very confident that we can manage systems at every scale. And last, little bit impressive figure maybe. We are managing in the meantime in our private cloud more than 136,000 systems. And I think as of today, that number is even crossing now the 140,000 line. And in these systems, we are managing 38 petabytes of data. So there is a huge element of scalability that we are having in our offerings. And with these scalable operations, we are confident that we can take those customers easily now on board into our RISE and Cloud ERP journey that are still in a classical ERP system. So with that, I'm at the end of my time and at the end of my presentation. So I hope it was a good starting into that attractive day. And thanks again, ASAC, for having me. Thanks, Alejandro and Fernando, for inviting me. And really wishing you a nice and successful day here at this great place we are at today. Thank you.